will win their share of $1 million in appliances from Frigidaire when they shop at Singer. Purchase any Frigidaire item from Singer to get the chance to be one of 4 winners of Frigidaire store credit valued $250,000 each. With weekly draws, the earlier you shop, the more chances you have to win. Glam up your kitchen, fix up your laundry, get enough winnings with Singer and Frigidaire. Promotion ends December 21, 2020.
Hi, yes, good afternoon. Welcome once again to this edition of the Wake Up Guyana show here. I want to take this opportunity to apologize. It's a late start, very unusual here in the Kaieteur News studio on Saffron Street. But sometimes things happen and we have to deal with it. Today was one of the days that the Gildarie had to go see the doctor. I ran a little late. But what we're going to do, we're going to shake things up a little today. We did promise to bring some representatives of the Guyana Power and Light, and it is an opportune moment that we do that. With all that has been happening, and we always blame GWI, GT&T, and GPL for whenever things go wrong. Do we have an understanding of what the challenges are? Well, today in the studio, we have 2 representatives, 2 very senior officials, decision makers within the Guyana Power and Light, who knows all about challenges, who knows all about being in the hot seats, and we are going to engage them, and then we are going to open the lines and talk to them a little, try to have an understanding as to where we're at, where we'd like to be, and what are some of the big challenges that the GPL is encountering at the moment. Every single day, including Sunday, sometimes, there is going to be some kind of quarrel, some kind of complaint about GPL, but there's the other side of the story too. And like always here, right on Kaieteur Radio, as well as with Gildarie, we like to tell the other side of the story. So today we will get right down into it. It's November the 1st, 2020. You tuned in to the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio, coming to you live on a Saffron Street studio in Charlestown. You could get us on 99.1 in Essequibo and in Demerara. And if you're in Berbice, it is 99.5. We also coming to you live on Facebook, Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. We don't want to waste time today. There's a couple of things that I want to tell you before we head right down to the 2 officials that are here. I'm going to tell you a little about them in a very short while. What is it that they're doing here, and the positions that they're holding, and also we do. I think our boys are saying something. What's it that you're saying? You want to say something to me? Rads is here, all look good with his jacket and everything. But I am going to tell you right before we get into it, there's a couple of things that we should tell you. One is a very hilarious situation this morning, video that surfaced on the internet. A man that or somebody that wants to purport that he went to rob a very well-known former murder accused in Guyana, Marcus Bisram, and that man, all masked and everything, says, "I didn't steal so much from him. When we raided him, we didn't steal anything about $4 or $5 million. It was just $800,000. So if there's anything that you want to laugh about in Guyana, the boys would say Guyana full of laugh. COVID-19. Ferry service between Guyana and Suriname to reopen by mid next month. This is according to the latest measures that has been announced by the government, the Guyana Task Force, and we will in a very little while tell you a little about what is happening also with the COVID-19. But what we do know, restricted travel in Region 7. Those are for the persons living there, and forestry, as well as to the mining community there. So wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing today, I want to say welcome to the Wake Up Guyana show here. And we do happen to have 2 gentlemen, like I mentioned before. One of them right away is the Deputy Chief Executive Officer. I'm not sure. Am I still stuck in the elections mode? It seems that way. But it's the Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Samaru Ramtahal. And of course, we also have somebody who's been around for a little while, that we have known him, we've seen his face, but he is seriously into operations, and he's the divisional director of projects, Mr. Bharat Harjan. Gentlemen, welcome. You guys are sitting in a very important place, which is the GPL. And it has been a struggle for a little while, for a couple of years. We knew what the GPL at one point in time it had to do with generation. Right about now, while we get in the generation side of thing fixed, we also talk about transmission and distribution. Those are the lines. So we can't just forget you can generate how much you want. If the lines are not working at the end of the day, or the transformers are old and leaking and have problems, you're gonna have voltage and you're gonna have any kind of hard wind that gonna be there is gonna be giving us an issue. So let's get right down to it. Why should people forgive? I'm going to ask Mr. Ido, Mr. Harjon, or even Chevron Sears, who's the public relations officer of the Guyana Power Light. She happens, we chat a lot, and sometimes I quarrel with her too. But we have a very good relationship going back several years. She's been there. I want to ask you, lady and gentlemen, why should the people of Guyana understand what GPL is doing? Why should we forgive you? What has happened, and is there more to the story that meets the eye?
So great question, Leonard. Good day to your viewers. Currently, GPL has been experiencing reliability problems, and there are a number of reasons we can use as explanation or justification. If you go with generation, first of all, over the last 5 years or so, there's less than 5% investment into new generation set. So presently, we do have around 150 megawatts of generators. The problem there is that almost 50% of those generating set are very old. They're past their shelf life, so we're trying to work with them to ensure we have some stability in the system. So the first area is generation. You correctly pointed out we also have the distribution, transmission distribution. An easy way to explain this, Leonard, is imagine we have one road, and same thing with our transmission line. We don't have any redundancy. We only have one line to go, and so if a car is broken down, then the one behind will get stuck. And similarly, in our transmission distribution system, we don't have redundancy. So from time to time, when we have issues with reliability, when we have power outage, it's because of we have one transmission line, and when you have problems, you don't have redundancy as a backup. And so generation, transmission, distribution, those are the two main areas that are really affecting the reliability of the service that GPL is providing. However, we at GPL, we've been trying to improve on generation capacity. Of recent, we signed on Giftland. With November, we signed under 5 megawatts. Hopefully that will help us in the Christmas period. We're expecting to have a higher demand during the Christmas period as normally the case. We are currently also in the process of installing 10 megawatts of Macorp Caterpillar set. So we're hoping by next week those plants will be in the country. We have all our plans in place to connect those 10 megawatts. Again, that'll be in time for the Christmas season. So from generation side, and of course next year we have the Garden of Eden plant, the 46.5 megawatt dual engines. We're hoping for that to come in stream April, May of next year. So with the 46.5, we're hoping that we'll have enough reserve capacity. One of the challenges, of course, is that we do not have spare capacity, spare reserves in generation. So if one of your plant is down, then you have to give schedule outage. You have to give outages because of that. So from the generation perspective, we're hoping by mid next year we will be in a better position. However, of recent, last Friday, and I'll ask Bharat to comment on this, we did experience, or in fact over the last week or so, you will notice that we had more occurrences of power outages, and because we have been experiencing some problems with our submarine cable, and I'll ask Bharat to comment on that.
Thank you very much, dear. And if you've now joined us, as the Wake Up Guyana show with your host Leonard Gildarie, we have GPL officials, senior officials in the studio here at Saffron Street. You would have been hearing there from Mr. Ramtahal, and he is no other than the deputy CEO. We have Mr. Bart Harjon here too, and he's another director of projects at GPL. Sir, you know the questions. Over to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gildarie. Thank you, Mr. Ramtawal, for that little introduction on what the challenges that GPL is being faced with right now. So to get to when you started out by saying what are some of the issues that GPL is facing to eventually to be able to provide a reliable service. It is not only about having your reserve capacity in terms of generation. It's not only of having maintained that line that go all the way to the customer, but it also must be able to provide an alternative route for that power to go to the customer in the event that something happened with that particular line, for example. So a simple scenario is when, like for right now, we have a major transmission line that moves power from Braden Hoop to the rest of the grid. That line now is being severed. We can't move the power. So although we have all the generation capacity at Braden Hoop, we can't take that power and deliver it to the customer. So these are some of the challenges that GPL is facing right now. So we have like a hub and spoke kind of arrangement where the generation is at one end, at the center, and then you have lines going all the way out. So it's like radial circuits. So if something happens somewhere close to that circuit where the power is being generated from, everyone that is connected along that circuit beyond that will be out of power. And that is why when someone might say, okay, you have a pole fell for some reason, maybe a vehicle hit it or heavy winds, or one of them probably got ruptured because it break for some reason. One might say, why? And it happened at some distance away from your home. You might say, why are you being affected if it's happening all the way, maybe 2-3 miles down the line? But you have to understand where the power is coming from, where the source of the power. The source of the power may come from a substation closer to where that fault is. So it affects everyone down the line. So what we need, and that is where GPL has been, challenged with and able to provide a reliable power. And any radial network, you cannot have 100% reliability. So you need ring circuits. You must be able to have another source of sending that where the power can come from to send it to the customer. So you also need a ring network. So if a pole fell somewhere along within a ring, you can route power from the other side. So the challenge that GPL is facing, we can probably put all the power plant, all the generators in place, but if we don't look at the distribution network, if we don't look at the transmission network, we'll still be faced with this problem. So that is a critical area that our viewers need to understand.
And if I may tap in right here, listening to my director and my deputy CEO, strategic operations, a lot of people oftentimes, they lash way into GPL and they quarrel, and we do understand. However, because of the technicality of the job, it's not easy to always come to a solution. In addition to that, we have to invest millions of dollars in fixing the existing system, which is an age transmission system. And so we oftentimes plead with customers, plead with the general public to understand our position. We're not just sitting there saying, you know what, give this person outage and give that person outage. But we have to plan it. Every year we have an annual maintenance plan that we use to inform our public as to when we'll have planned maintenance. Because in order to maintain this age network, we have to effect planned maintenance, because we're not at the place yet where we're actually doing live maintenance. We cannot, and therefore we cannot put our technical teams at risk. What I would implore upon customers, coming back to your first question, is for them to understand human first. because GPL has a brilliant team on board. Who we have Mr. Ramtahal, who is working every day in the fields trying to ensure that we have reliable capacity, reliable power for our customers, and therefore our customers have to work along with us too. Now, Gildarie, there's a problem. In most of our served areas, our customers come into the customer service center and they make an application for service. But when they make that application for service, let's say they come in and they say they want 2 kVA, but when they go back after being successful at achieving that service, they go and they put in 10 kVA, they don't inform GPL, so it's putting extra pressure on our generation system. It's putting extra pressure on that localized transformer. So when if we have 40 people within a community of 300 doing that, you know the amount of problems we'll have, localized faults. And that is why when there's a localized fault within a community, we advise our customers to call in, report it. Remember, we will not be able to identify that localized fault from our SCADA system. We will know what's happening with the system, GPL's network from the SCADA system, but we won't be able to identify a localized fault. And therefore, we ask our customers to call 226-2600. Our 24 hours call center. Once they make that report, we have emergency teams who are on site ready to go and effect the necessary rectification actions. But again, we're asking and we're pleading with our customers to understand GPL's position. We are working every day tirelessly. Our technical teams, you see Mr. Harjan and Mr. Samru, sometimes I know that they don't sleep because of how things are. It's an age network, and therefore we are encouraging our customers to understand we don't want to give you blackout. If we could just make the system work, we have to get billions of dollars to make the system work. But incrementally, we are doing things to ensure that we provide a level of service that you are paying for. And so we want to encourage you to work along with us, be an ambassador for GPL, and we're going to work with you.
All right, thank you very much for that. I think we need to deal with some urgent matters. Like, for example, we have that submarine cable that is thing there. Now that is leaving how many megawatts over the river that can get come?
So the submarine cable being out, we can't access the Vredenhoek power plant, meaning that it's not being connected to the grid. So right now there's a shortfall about 6 megawatt from that power plant.
But overall, we're getting 26 megawatts from that power plant, and we're using over on the west side about 15 megawatts, and we're still transferring a small amount via
So when
the
the cable
30.8.
when the cable was there, we would normally take over about 14 megawatt. But after putting in the additional submarine cable from Vredenhoek to Princess Street, which is at the 13.8 level, we using that cable to bring about 5 megawatt. And there's an additional submarine cable at Friesland to Craig.
Mm-hmm.
We bring in over about 3. So in total, about 8 megawatt is being, exported from Vredenhoek to the east.
So for the normal man in the street, you heard a lot of figures there. How much are we shortfalling generally between the Demerara and the Berbice system? Are we likely, because of this submarine cable, because we need to tell the people out there, are we going to see some outages?
No, because of that 6 megawatt that we short there, we're not going to see any prolonged outages. What we did is that we increased the capacity on the east. We have some additional units. So we add a few more Caterpillar units on the eastern side. We're also going to bring in 10 megawatt by December the 9th. Additional to that, we have about 30 megawatts on maintenance, and that is also going to be here ready for December the 9th. So going into the holiday season, in total, we're going in for about 159 megawatt. And we're expecting a peak demand overall about 125 megawatt.
Oh, great. And do we have any idea when that submarine cable is going to be fixed?
As of now, we cannot give a definite time in terms of the date when it can be completed. We are making every effort to make contact with all the personnel out there who can provide that support, because we know the challenge right now with the COVID-19, the restriction in traveling. So we're reaching out to our partners in the Caribbean. We are looking at North America, Canada, US to see if we can get some support.
So between now, I think bottom line, because it seems to get a sense, we waiting that 46 megawatts from Guyana of Eden, until that comes on, and we're talking generation here. We're not talking about a normal thing that might happen with the transmission and distribution. We are on a very how you say it, in a very serious situation. Would you say that?
I would say, whilst we may have 159 megawatt going through the holiday, we'll have to now start back our maintenance program in January. So we'll have units being out for maintenance. We have seen in the past at an average day, we'll have about 138 megawatt daily, because we'll have units being out for maintenance. And so out of that 159 megawatt, there is about 30 megawatt which are suspect capacity, meaning that they are all unreliable units. So there will be time when they give you force outages, and so that is a consideration that we should take into.
And to just put this in perspective, I think you said about 150 megawatts of generating units that they have. How many of this, what percentage of this is maybe over 10, 15 years old? How many of that? Do we have an idea?
Yeah, so like I said, about 30 megawatts of the in terms of our age unit is about over 30 years old.
Wow. And the lifespan, just for somebody who doesn't know, what was the expected lifespan?
It's about 25.
25.
Yeah.
So we're skating on pretty thin ice there, and so when you cause GPL and sometimes like Sunday gone, I was very upset at several hours in the morning there. But then we learned that of course that submarine cable that would have been severe there in the Demerara River. We can't send the extra power from across the river to here, but let's talk projections wise here now for the next 5 years. We have 46 megawatts is going to come, which gives us a little comfort. But going forward, how is that in terms, because there's a demand that is coming too. There's a lot of business, hotels, and so maybe that we're going to be seeing. What are some of the projections in terms of what you would need to be next for the next 5 years?
So in terms of the next 5 years, in our development and expansion plan, we have a program. There are a couple areas we're focusing on. One of it, of course, is the natural gas. We're hoping that 3-4 years down the road we'll have gas to shore. And so we do have a plan for 200 megawatt, the same similar dual engine that we have right now that we're installing at the Garden of Eden. So we do have plans for bigger, 200 megawatts. We also have plans that we're reviewing right now on solar PV. We have a capacity close to about 50 megawatts that we are working through right now with our shareholders, the government. So I think the 200 plus 250 is over the next 5 years. That's our target. More longer term, of course, hydro will be into consideration. That would be more like 5 years, 5+ years.
And this doesn't come cheap, of course. Do we have a ballpark figure? What kind of money this is going to dig into GPL and maybe ask in the government for? What's it going to cost?
We don't have like a ballpark, right? But roughly $1 million US per megawatt. So if you look at 200 megawatts plant, you're looking minimum at 200 million US.
Well, that's interesting. So to come back to what we would have been talking here, GPL for the next couple of months is going to be a touch and go kind of situation. Yes, there's generation, but that does not mean that there's not going to be any blackouts or anything, because you're still dealing with a transmission distribution line which is aging as well. Any kind of hard rain or maybe a storm or something, and we know how bad that is. On the long term, or when we're looking at maybe, let's say within the next 5 years, you talk about getting the generation right. Let's hopefully with maybe some extra power. And those engines, I think the 46 megawatts, that could do the natural gas as well.
Yes.
So we are looking down the line forward. So in a very short while, we are going to open the lines, because the officials said that they are very happy to take some calls from the people. We're dealing with some senior officials of the Guyana Power and Light, the state-owned Guyana Power and Light here. And of course, it is to bring the other side of the story, as we always do. How much of a challenge is GPL facing with generation, and not only generation, but bringing the power to the people using its transmission and distribution network. And for those who doesn't know, we have a network that is interlinked between Demerara and Berbice. And Berbice would be using a combination of engines that is up there on the west side, and on the east side with a skeleton power plant, that cogen that is there. How is that working out, by the way, the cogen?
No, as of now, we're not getting any power from the cogen because they will need like bagasse or raw material to run the boilers. So we're not using any from there. We're just using from the three Caterpillar units that they, 3 Wärtsilä units that they have there, which is a total of 10 megawatt.
Thank you. And now on the other side of things, I'm not sure. Are you headed into a break? I think we will be headed into a break in a very, very short while. If you're now joining us on the Wake Up Guyana show here with your host Leonard Gildarie, we have the PRO, the Public Relations Officer of GPL, Chevion Sears, as well as Mr. Samaru Ramtahal, Deputy CEO, Strategic Operations, Barrett Harjon, Divisional Director, Power Generations of State-owned Guyana Power and Light. We take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little about customer service, because I know that's a big one for people when they call in by GPL and they can't get that service, or if it takes a little while. And then, of course, we could talk about the PUC, but definitely we are going to be opening the lines 226-7453. And of course, you could send us your messages on 62222, so we could be able to ask the gentleman and lady in the studio here today some of the things that have been bothering you over the years, and maybe you could rant and rave at them, but there's the other side of the story too. As Chevion would have said, they have not been sleeping. We'll be back with you in a very short while.
Sleep in comfort this Christmas with a certain mattress from Singer. Buy a king-size mattress for the price of a queen and a queen size for the price of a double. Singer, at home, worldwide.
Get ready! Singer and Frigidaire are bringing you enough winnings! 4 lucky customers will win their share of $1 million in appliances from Frigidaire when they shop at Singer. Purchase any Frigidaire item from Singer to get the chance to be one of 4 winners of Frigidaire store credit valued $250,000 each. With weekly draws, the earlier you shop, the more chances you have to win. Glam up your kitchen, fix up your laundry, get enough winnings with Singer and Frigidaire. Promotion ends December 21, 2020.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Thank you, and welcome back to the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. It's CARICOM Insurance time, a better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. at 121 Regent and Ornock Street. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. If you're now joining us, it's just a little after 2 p.m. today, right here on Kaieteur Radio. And we're talking to senior officials of the Guyana Power and Light. You know, recently it has been in the news for not some very good things, but like we've always said, 2 and 3 and 4 sides to every story. And of course, GPL, I seem to get the impression as if they want to change things in a very drastic manner. There was a time when officials within government agencies and state agencies, very hard to get onto them. These officials, very young, and it seems as if they want to take the bull by the horns and, you know, start addressing the situation. Customer service, putting it to the people out there so they understand the challenges that they're getting. And we're speaking to Mr. Samaru Ramtahal. He's a Deputy CEO, Strategic Operations, and Bardindial. Sorry, I saw Bardindial. I'm not sure why I got Bardindial. He was a former CEO, but Bart Arjon, a Divisional Director of Power Generation. And of course, we would have with us here also the lady in the mix of things, and she is the Public Relations Officer of the Guyana Power and Light, Chavion Sears. Gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the program. I want to ask you directly. Many times on this program here, people are calling and they're saying, we can't get through. I applied for services. It took forever for us to get it. Several months now. What do I do? I can't. I call the lines. Nobody is answering. What are some of the numbers? What are some of the things that people need to know when it comes to GPL, when it comes to service? There is a license. Before we go right into it, let me tell you, GPL is governed by a license which is overlooked by the regulator, the Public Utilities Commission. And Public Utilities Commission would haul GPL in as part of the regulations to say what every year that they have done for the people. How did they deliver the service? Did they deliver service on time? Meaning, did they give the people power 97% of the time, 99% of the time? Was it worse than last year? Was it better? What are some of the things that they could do to improve the services? When it comes to new services, did they deliver on time? What were some of the reasons that would have held them back from not doing that? So these are things, they're heavily regulated. PUC, very serious people, would call them in and they need to explain, and then there's going to be reports and back and forth. So I want to ask you, over to you, Chavion. I know this is a favorite part of you. I don't get through to GPL. What should I do?
Okay, so first of all, we have our call center, which is 24 hours, 226-2600. We have a queue system because obviously if several persons are trying to tap into the system, you'll have to wait in a queue, and therefore it will alert you as to which number you're at. If okay, you're on to the Guyana, because it's automated, you're on to the Guyana Power and Light Incorporated, you are caller number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever. Most times, I know from experience, a lot of people don't want to wait in the queue for several reasons. Maybe you don't have enough credit, maybe you're in a rush, maybe you're exhausted. And so, but the up thing to do is to wait in the queue, because when you call the call center, the benefit to you is that you'll get a reference number. And that reference number is pretty important, because if you have a problem, let's say, for example, we had an outage on your appliance, whether it's your microwave, your refrigerator, or your television would have damaged. When you get that reference number, you're now able to use that if you decide to make a claim to GPL. So that's one aspect. The second aspect, if there's an outage and you're making that call and you don't wait in the queue, you wouldn't get a reference number, and therefore you'll be around the block trying to get on to maybe somebody you know or to another number. But again, I want to encourage you to stay on the line and wait and get that reference number, because if it's an outage and you make that call, you receive that reference number, let's say within an hour, because that's a constant complaint, oh, I reported it and nobody came. But then if I ask you, did you get a reference number? You say no. But if you had that reference number, I'll be able to track not only who you spoke with, but what time the complaint was lodged and how long it took for us to effect that change. So it's pretty important for you to call our 226-2600 and ensure, if our customer service representatives do not give you a reference number, ask for one. So that's one aspect. Now, because of COVID-19, during the pandemic, we would have launched our online business suite with all of the applications, meaning how to apply new service applications, change of tenancy applications, if you want to do a inquiry with your billing and everything. So everything is online. However, we're still admitting small number of people within our offices to do whether it's application, a query, or so forth. Now, the big question is, if I don't get through to that 226-2600, what do I do? We always publish the public relations number, 225-1471, and I always give my cell number because the customers are paying my bills, and so I give 600-6046. People call me all the time, whether it's in the morning, early in the morning, late in the night. I still try, once I answer that phone, to take that complaint and address it. We are working for you, and therefore we're trying everything within our power to reach out to you. Now, with Mr. Ramtahal's intervention, we would have launched a rapid response system. So when customers call that 226-2600 and give their complaint, we have 6 teams on standby waiting to effect that complaint, to correct that issue. And so we are reaching our customer. We would have launched prepaid WhatsApp service as well. So customers with prepaid system, they could call that WhatsApp us, tell us their problems with regard to the prepaid system, and we troubleshoot with them. So we go through the issue with them, and if we cannot effect the necessary changes, we send a team right away to ensure the technical people are on stream to get that customer back on the grid, and so that they could be able to access electricity. So we are implementing a menu of initiatives to ensure we reach out to our customers. Even recently, we had what we call the roadshow, and we went into different communities, and we met with customers, and we discussed issues with customers, and we went back with the ideas that customers gave to us to implement new initiatives in order to ensure we provide customer satisfaction. In addition to that, we have a lot of customers out there who are living in squatting communities and so forth, and we are reaching out to those customers to give them electricity, because we understand electricity is the driver of economic development. And we want to ensure our company and the country at large develop in such a way, because customers may have localized businesses and so forth that they need to grow, and so they need electricity. In recent time, we powered at least between late December to now at least 18 communities, small communities, what they call squatting areas. We connect them to the grid. We went in, Minister Indar and us went over the river. We put electricity in Waller's Delight, Plantation Best, and Crane Village, which is the small village. We are reaching out to our customers, and that is why I'm saying we need to work together. Yes, we understand your frustration when you don't know there's an outage. We in every way try to ensure we alert our customers when we have planned maintenance or planned outages. But in the cases where we don't know about it and it just happened, we try to quickly inform them. But we want you to understand that we are working for you, and we're going to continue to try to deliver optimum service to our customers. So we're asking them to just play a part. Now, with regard to the situation whereby customers are adding more things to their household, whether it's more appliances or they're doing a business, because if you register for a residential and then you change to a business and you don't come and inform GPL, it puts a strain on our network, our system, our auxiliaries, and therefore we are encouraging you to report that. Be a good citizen. Report it. Come and say, well, listen, I changed from tariff A to tariff B or tariff C, and make the necessary, commit your obligation, because if you don't pay your bill, we cannot implement the necessary strategies to ensure we provide reliable service. Because if we don't get, first thing, a lot of people too during the pandemic did not pay the bill. We're not disconnecting. So come on, we have to meet each other halfway. We need to pay our bills. Pay our bills. I always say, as a person, you have to have an obligation. If you have 5 bills, when you are budgeting, you budget for your 5 bills. Pay GPL, because if you don't pay GPL, it puts a strain on us and the government, who has to provide subvention to GPL to assist us to pull us out of that deficit. So we are pleading with our customers, pay your bill. You don't have to come into GPL. You could pay your bills via one of the payment agents. And so we are not bullying you to pay the bill. We allow you during the pandemic to not pay your bill. Some people paid, some people pay a small amount. So let's say you have a bill of $10,000. People went in and paid 5. Yes, that's okay. But we are still pleading with you, because we need monies to run the operation. We have to pay for salaries. We have to pay for maintenance. We have to pay for look now, the submarine, we have to purchase those kits to fix the submarine cable, and therefore we are asking you and we're pleading with you to commit to your civil obligation, which is to pay your bills. So we have a part to play, you have a part to play, and we can all do it as a team effort, right?
Thank you very much for that. And that's Shavion Sears, the Public Relations Officer of the state-owned Guyana Power and Light. I want to ask you, would GPL contemplate a possibility of maybe putting a toll-free number that the people could call and complain? Because you did talk that some people, I heard you there,
Yeah, like
but
that.
it's something, because somebody might say, look, and I run out of credit. I know that you say, yes, you're paying light and you should have credit and anything, but because it's a state-owned company, I'm asking whether it's something that may not be out of the
We will
window.
consider that.
Very
That's a great-
good.
That's a great idea.
Great idea. I'll make a note of it.
We will consider.
Thank you very much. Now, one of the big complaints that we would have had before we go to the lines, very shortly we are going to open the lines, get the questions ready, and I'm going to read some from the our WhatsApp number there, 6222222. One of the big complaints that we have, and I think GPL has come up with some conspiracy, because lately I've been seeing my bills going up and up and up. Is there a conspiracy by GPL to raise people's bills?
No.
What's happening here?
There's not any conspiracy that we're aware of. The meters that we're changing out, so just like the generator we mentioned and some of the other assets we have, we do have similar problems with the metering system. We don't have standardized meters, so the change in new meters we're changing out. These are supposed to be more accurate compared to the very older meters we have. So you might find cases where the old meters that we had in the system were defective, it was not working properly, and once we add the new meters, it's probably reflecting more accurate, and that's not all across, but generally it's like that. Once we install the newer meters, it normally reflects a more accurate reading. But when there are cases, there are also equally in the opposite side. There were cases where we did go and check the meters and it was defective, and hence why sometimes it's showing higher. But these kind of complaints, we need to deal with them on a one-to-one basis, because we can't generalize. If there's any customer, I'll imploring them to reach out to us if you feel that your meter is you're being overcharged via your meter. We'll look into that and can do meter tests and correct that if that's the case.
Are you seeing, gentlemen and lady, are you seeing an increase in the number of complaints maybe to the PUC as compared to the other years? Are you seeing anything like that?
No, there's not an increase. Actually, our complaints to the PUC would have gone down over at least 3 years. But coming back to your question with regard to your bill rising, I'll take your number and check it. And like my deputy CEO
Not
said,
me. I'm putting myself.
no, you're just
over
using
there.
using an example. But whomever we're willing to take that bill, look at it, do an analysis, and see where maybe if we have to do a correction or if it's really accurate, right? So,
We have had cases.
but we've had cases. So
I'm
you're
going to put
correct.
my own to test, because I did remember paying like about 15,000, gone like about 20,000. I'm not sure was it, but we could probably put it at
Yes.
test. But what we should know is that there is a call center that GPL has, and you should take note of these numbers here: 226-2600. 226-2600. GPL has just given us a commitment that they are going to probably contemplate a toll-free numbers. And you could also, Chevian doesn't sleep during the day and the night either. And her number is 225-1471, 225-1471. And so you could call us. Call them rather. That's a public relations department. Gentlemen, lady, I think it's about time now that we head to the calls. 226-7453. You could call us on that. Do not call us on the 6222222, which is where we receive the messages. And so let us see if there's anything. Let me read a couple of questions that the people are asking here. GPL has a management problem. They cannot hide from an aid system, and the GPL is in a situation for years with no end in sight. Your guests give us no hope. Same old story. I guess the billing system is also dated. The lady's appeal to the public is understand is also age old. So We have some very angry people here. GPL should be privatized. The government is wasting money paying these ineffective managers. I spoke of generation. What are they doing with the distribution system? You don't have to answer, but I put it to you there. If you feel we have some young managers here now and they understand. Gildarie sits here
Yes.
and he gets criticism all the time, and I don't care because at the end of the day, that's democracy, and it's also it comes with the territory. It pushes you to improve.
Yes.
But you guys could probably take.
So yeah, I mean those comments, we hear them a lot, and we are working and changing. Like Chevron was talking about the customer services. COVID-19, of course, have impacted us severely. Some of the services, for example, you apply for a meter. Because of the COVID-19 crisis, we were struggling to even get our meter stocks in stores, because overseas it was difficult to bring in your meters. So this year, COVID-19 is unique in terms of the challenges that it brought about. But at the same time, as a new team, we're working to improve. We just mentioned that as far as the reliability is concerned, we're adding new emergency crews on the ground. Because in the past, we noticed that the turnaround time, the response rate is very, very long. As a result, we add 5-6 new teams, especially to cover off during the holidays period. And so we are working to improve as best as possible. Most of these changes that is required to upgrade GPL system to state-of-the-art or a modern system requires investment. And all throughout the years, the last 5-10 years, we have these nice, beautiful plans. The problem is that we're always not up there in terms of the investment level.
Yes, and it takes millions and millions of dollars, my understanding, because I think even to bring that 46 megawatts that they have built in that new plant there, Garden of Eden, almost 50 million US dollars. It's a lot of money that you'd have to find, 50 million US dollars. That's a lot of money. Do we have a call in line? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead. Hello. Yes, good afternoon, caller.
Hi, good afternoon to you, Mr. Leonard Gildarie.
Yes, it is, and you on air here. We have GPL right now, and we deal with them. What's the question?
Yes, sir. Concerning GPL, I have a issue. I would like to ask that young lady for a number after the program, or when you cut me off. If she could just give us that number. This number I want. When you have contractors that work with GPL that does illegal connection for themselves and their confederates, people doing welding off a GPL line free, people running workshop off a GPL line free, and it is GPL contractors who doing these things. What is GPL doing about it? I have the evidence on tape. I would like a WhatsApp number when you finish with me here, so that I can WhatsApp it to you. I can let you see. That is one. Number two, what is GPL doing about people who have solar systems that could generate excess current during the day? I went into GPL and asked for a biodirectional meter. There is a meter, I think they said I get, that will, when I have excess current, that could send back current to GPL. When I went there, the man told me I have to pay $78,000 for the meter. I have to pay GPL $120-something thousand. If I am going to assist GPL into generating current off of my solar system, and I have a very large solar system, what is the reason that I have to pay all this money? I would like the young lady to answer that question. That is it. And when she finishes, she give me the WhatsApp number on here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Well, there are two gentlemen here in their respective portfolios, so I'm not sure.
Yeah,
the question's over to you.
So first of all, the question with the illegal connection, thank you so much for that information. We will definitely follow up once we share our numbers offline. Regarding the second question on the bidirectional meters, there is a fee, of course, to apply for the meter. I'm only imagining that the fee is for the meter. And in terms, so the bidirectional meter is simply allowing you to read both ways. So whatever you consume or whatever you export back to the grid. And currently, we are working on the policy of giving back credits to the customer for any power that is exported into the system. So that is a work in progress, and we are, as we're speaking here, we are having discussions to ensure we can allow customers to export to the grid.
Thank you. And I think Shaviani did ask to maybe,
Yes,
right?
so you are correct with regard to the illegal connection. We would have heard many stories, but again, we asked for the evidence, and I'm hearing you saying that you have the evidence. So once we get that information, we will take the necessary actions. And like my director would have, my DCU would have explained with regard to the directional meter, I'll give you my number. It's 600 6046, and you could add me to WhatsApp and send all the details there, and we'll take the necessary action.
Thank you very much for that. And then, so we come to another comment here. I was living in Camberville before, and my mother-in-law, who had her own place, gave me permission to go to GPL. No, I'm not there anymore, and my nephew moved into the apartment I was living in. When I left Camberville, I went to GPL and disconnected the light. When my nephew went to connect the light in his name, they said they could only connect the light in the previous person's name, which was mine. To date, I've been trying to change over the name of the meter to my nephew, because we don't have transport for the place. What the PRO is saying is not true. My friend bought a house, and because that she was trying her best to change the meter over to her name and did not get to pay since February, but in November she went and found out how much she has to pay, which was over $200,000. By the time she and I left GPL, I was in front of Guyana stores. Her neighbor called and told that GPL disconnected our light. We went to GPL, and the supervisor insisted that she paid the reconnection fee. I'm not sure if I could send this to you, maybe, if you guys want to.
Yeah, we'll action it, because it's definitely something that we'll have to address.
Okay, well, maybe I'm gonna give you that, and then you could probably send it to your phone.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we are tuned in to the Wake Up Guyana show here on the Kaieteur Radio, and of course GPL is coming out. There is new faces in GPL, and they are taking GPL to the people. And what they're saying, that we need to change the whole perception. When I had the initial talks with the GPL officials, they said we want to change this whole thing, that we're not very cold, that we are people's oriented. We want to deliver service to the people, and of course we're gonna fall short, but we want to. It's a work in progress. It's gonna take a little time, and there's so many challenges that we are facing and have been facing over the years. Do we have another caller on the line? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You're here.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon, sir.
I want you to give people a chance to call in, because you're making a lot of comments and you hold back a lot of people. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Now listen, we had a problem yesterday when they were doing some work at the stadium, the police. And by 5 o'clock, everybody get called. You got different transformer, different here, right? And I didn't see the call going. I said, let me go check this transformer. When the breaker was hold on, fall off, we called GPL. I want the young lady to understand. We called GPL. They said they're going to come. We'll fix it. 6 o'clock gone. We call back again. 7 o'clock gone. We call back again and said they're going to meet for 8 o'clock. You know what time they meet? 8:30. That's the attitude of this GPL people. This is the attitude. And people that keep current, and they are not doing nothing. Look, me at a meeting and come and check.
No, let's talk about the people stealing current. Did you ever try calling them in as well?
When I say stealing current, people play music. When I go wearing a clip on up and the thing there, for yourself.
Did anybody try to call in and GPL did not pay attention?
Look, man, GPL will never pay attention. The police will never pay attention. I'm saying this because it's a whole country. How much body is wearing a plan? A plan to play the music. You must check out these things. Now listen carefully. The guy come. He read me actually. He say read the meter. Well, made everything. The man makes sure the committee after the man. The man cut the key. Me actually cut the key for. He say check inside. Me say everything okay. He say yes. He get passion and he slam the thing and the thing blast out. When he blast and let I tell you something, I run for contrast about a chappy. But the two black boys hold me back and say, buddy.
You can't chop nobody, right? You
no,
can't
you
do
got to
that.
listen what I'm saying. I tell you, simple. Take your time of it. With the Kuliba, he shoot the thing. And the two black boys stand up and I'm a watch. And I'm a laugh. He blasty and I run with it because if anything will damage in me house, who would I pay for it? Oh, my body thing, GPL. Let a lady understand one thing. the load shedding by the time you go for blam, your fridge burn. Who will pay from? GPL pay from?
Did any of your stuff burnt? Did you make a complaint to GPL? They did not look at it.
No, but I'm saying people stuff are burn.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm saying we get blackout and by the time we get up on the summit for go at the kitchen we take out the fridge, huh?
Uh-huh.
You see the corn come moved and it got back again.
Uh-huh.
Okay, burn. But the thing is that GPL must understand that they must set people, they must use it for COVID steady. Then I carry out them work, brother. And a lot of people suffer from burning fridge, toaster, all kind of thing. You look at Bobby speech up on news, how the people are complaining. They think I go like a field, like bam, 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 bam. What kind of nonsense I'm going out with? And they come in and strong attack, sweet words. Now, they must run some new meter, as the gentleman said, right? Why don't I go put it in Buxton? Why don't I go put it in another place? They will come out the Indian area and do it. Huh?
No. I would not agree. I would not agree. I would not agree. No. Sir, I would have to set the record straight on that. I happen to have questioned GPL about that because they had some figures that came out that was showing where some of the areas that there was a high incidence of electricity theft. And I could tell you that GPL has been going into a lot of the areas, even with police presence, because this is something that has been...
I understand
right. No, but we need to make sure, because this is national radio here. We got to make sure that we tell the people the right thing. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, and listen this. Now, when I put this meter, we not get to see the figure, because when the girl can read this meter, me meter work perfect. When the girl can read the meter, me go work on my mark, don't question mark. So when my bill comes straight. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
And when that meter been damaged, let me explain something what we not go on. Me 1 week done, 2 weeks done, 3 weeks done. Me go every no. And me show the people. The lady give a number of Carl and Jarstone. Me Carl and Jarstone, me not get through. When me come home back, me go back every no. Here what the girl got tell me, the clerk, you have to pay $14,000. So me said, for what? He said that for the meter. Me said, me not born meter. Look the paper there. See the man who come on, I'm going to blast him and twist him and cut him. Let he look after, he pay the 40,000. So I wait and I see the manager. The lady calls you and tells you, this man not going to pay no money. Look, the signature is there. They burn it. And they come and they put on a new meter. Because me and I use more than 3, 5, 3, 3, 3, 4.
All right. Is there a question for the GPL officials?
I want a GPL official to understand clearly that I get the hydrofalls going. Not depend on this. That's why I got to talk to the government, let them get the hydrofalls going. And all this thing was ease up gradually. But I tell you something. I'm not saying for here and there, but a lot of people are thief current, you know.
A lot of people. All right, I'm going to ask them some figures here right now.
But, I don't really pay attention. And especially the man talk about welding people, GPL should got somebody. Nowadays GPL they got a badge, and you go and check right through the West Coast. You check the East Coast, and you catch these people and jail them.
All right, got you very much. I think you have some very valid points as always, and thank you very much for coming through, sir.
God bless, man.
God bless. Bye-bye. And so as always, we have people right across this beautiful nations of ours, and they would raise issues. Variety of things, but I want to ask you, how is GPL, and Mr. Harjon been very quiet, how is GPL dealing with the issues of electricity theft when they receive something? Do they have a ready response to that, or does it take a little while?
So yes, we do get a lot of complaints coming in where customer might say, oh, their neighbor is stealing, or they know someone that is stealing. We would send out, we have a team within an investigating team, and of course we go with the police and we will check it out. If there's a genuine case like that, we address it. We take the necessary action. And one of the important things that we will need from customers is when they, like Siobhan was saying, we need some evidence too, and that would help us, because sometimes someone just say it for for GPL to just probably just come around the area. They all use all kind of strategies to do it. But they are genuine cases, and we are, addressing them as they case by case.
Thank you very much for that. And so I think for figures, I think there is, I've been told that I have to take very quickly. It's a CARICOM insurance time, a better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. at 121 Regent and Ornock Streets. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. And we are going to continue right now. If you now join us in the Kaieteur Radio, it is a Wake Up Guyana show with your host Leonard Gildarie, and we have in our studio today senior officials of GPL. And you could recall over the last couple of days, it's not been such a happy time for GPL. They are facing some major challenges, and we're trying to get them here to have an understanding. What are some of these challenges? Why should we see with GPL, and how can we, or how soon can we have a better serving GPL? And with us today is the Deputy CEO, Strategic Operations, Mr. Samru Ramtahal, and Bharat Harjon, Divisional Director of Power Generation, along with the Public Relations Officer, Chevion Sears. Do we have another caller online? Yes, good afternoon, caller, you're on the air. Go right ahead. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're on to Kaieteur Radio. Go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. I get a problem with the GPL meeting. Right? What here happened since February month, right? We can't really go over left, right? And me alone and left, right? And
no. I didn't get that. You're going to left too fast. You have a problem with what?
With the meter and the reading, the people who read the meter.
Right.
Now they estimate me over 100 kilowatt, right? And we not use amount of current because I'm alone and live, right?
Uh-huh.
Now they change the meter, they put a new meter. They calling them, they say they're going to rectify it. The meter still, the bill still coming over 30-something thousand dollars. I mean, I use the amount of current. So I call my car, so I get through them.
Well, all right. I asked Chevion to address that. Chevion?
I'll give you my number. Could you please take my number? Do you have a pen, Uncle?
Yes.
600
600
6046.
6046. Good.
Right. So when I get off air, you call me and we're going to deal with this, okay?
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
And that is the end of Chevion Sears. I tell you why. Because she's not going to sleep anymore. Because one day I gave out my number over the phone and I went home. And I think everybody in Guyana has my number now. I'm almost like Bart. I'm Jack Dio there now. I got there to you, Mr. Bart, Jack Dio, wherever you are, whatever it is that you do it. So Chevion life is over right now. Let me see very quickly from our people what they're saying here. Greg, it's amazing that within a few minutes you came up with the idea of 1-800 number, and they couldn't think of that for years. Please ask them why. Why can't they give a reference number and return the customer calls by reference number, since they know that it's expensive for the customer to remain online? I think this is something that I've already made a suggestion to them. I think I would have been looking at GPL over the years, covering it for Kaieteur News, and I think I seem to get the impression there's some energy that they want to change right now. And let me tell you, gentlemen and lady, it is not going to be very easy. I think in this change in oil and gas scenario here, people are going to demand better quality. So your seats there at GPL, I can tell you, it's going to be very hot, and you are in the hot seat. Sir, good day to you, Boston listeners. As I was hanging up my Christmas decoration around the door, yes, it's the same one I hung last year that I'm using back because I can't afford a new one. I was thinking, why are we so poor? And listening to the Glenn Lyle show since it started, I realized that our leaders have sold us out. If we could only get the oil contract negotiated as promised, all Guyanese would be better off. I must say I admire Glenn Lyle and seemed so well informed. That girl Kiana has such a sweet voice. If she could say the same thing for Gildarie, I got a very great voice. But do we have another call there? More callers. Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon. A quick question to GPL.
Sure.
Now, I got a problem with GPL. Listen to this. What GPL intend doing about the depressed community that stay current, are thief current, and they footing the bill upon the other commuters, which is the innocent people that paying the bill? Because this is normally tell the people that they got a lot of community which thieving current in terms of Sapphire and it could go on. And I'm telling you this, they got a lot of depressed community that they could go into and see people thieving current. They could do it either, well, they got a structure that they could lay out and see a number of people fetching current. But they just put it on people that paying the bill. Now what I'm saying is this. I need it to be addressed, and I know it could be addressed because it is a whole mountain, a lot of innocent people that willing to pay a bill got a claim. Listen, why got a number of people taking current in place like Sapphire when you could go do a paperwork, verify the living day, and give them current at a low cost and put the other community and reduce the other community which is all over in terms of a lower bill. But I wanted to know what they intend doing about it in a new management structure in terms of knowing these communities taking current and putting the bill on the innocent people.
Thank you very much. And I have a question to ask them. That's it, sir?
Yes.
Thank you very much. We'll answer off here. Thank you very much. And I have a comment to make, and then I think the question has been asked of the team that we have here. I think when I was covering GPL a couple of years back, they had a figure of about 30% of commercial and other losses, meaning thieving or stealing of current, as we Guyanese people would say. And then, of course, because of the technical losses, meaning that the lines are not so good, you have the transmission lines and maybe the transformers, they are leaky and so on. That comes up about 30%, and that in itself is all built into the cost that GPL has to recover and still make some money so they could be able to do its expansion and so on. With that statement being said, you heard the gentleman answers maybe.
So in terms, maybe your question first, in terms of the losses currently, it is estimated very close to 28%, and in terms of the split, it's almost half and half. 14% commercial, which is theft of electricity, and technical line losses is about around 14% as well. With respect to the question in terms of what GPL is doing to curb theft of electricity and illegal connection, we do have a loss reduction department, and they are working very aggressively, and we will take the areas. I know because the gentleman mentioned Sapphire, we will go back and do some checks there and ensure if there's illegal connections. We have teams, we have investigators, we work with the police from time to time. So for illegal connections, we'll go there and remove them.
Is there a number that we could call it GPL if you see something wrong that we could tell them, to inform them? Or is the same 226-2600?
No, we have a number 225-5152 for loss reduction, and they will be able to answer and take the necessary information in order to go and do the necessary.
Thank you very much. 225-5152. If your neighbor stealing current, if they got a wedding or a wake and the people them attaching the little alligator clips, I think that's what they call it, onto the electricity thing, and you want to think, because yes, you're right. I think people should be angry that I'm paying for Paul. And I shouldn't be paying for Paul. Paul should not be stealing electricity. And I think, that's an area that has to. I think the PUC, as the Public Utilities Commission, as a regulator, had mandated that GPL bring it down. And it's in the interest of GPL to bring it down too, because you would want to ensure that, that 30% of your bill, if you could bring that down, that is something that's very good. Do we have a call in line? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead. Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Go right ahead.
I would like to talk to the guy with the GPL.
Yes.
Bagastong Road. Mr. Gildarie?
Yes, we hear you clearly.
The road already with the road. They don't fix all the hole. Thank you very much for what you do for me. But the lights, I'm begging them if they can come and just fix them lights. Sir, when you're driving, it's really, really dark, sir. And I just
this is the Higgs Bosch Road?
No, Bagastong Road by Kaieteur there?
Yes, I know Kaieteur, yes.
Right, they don't fix all the holes. That's very good way to do. I've been calling a time.
Yes, I did talk to, I think it's Minister Deodatindar and Minister Thanks
very much.
No, but this is not GPL. With the lights is not GPL. I think that is Ministry of Public Works.
Oh, I think
I'm going to raise that with them, though. I'm going to raise that with them.
Yeah, glad if you do the
And if you get through with one, I want one of them solar power lighting from my yard too, right?
Hey, that bad thief, like the thief, the thing. So.
All right.
All right, then, you have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, dear sir. So in the meantime, it is just about 2:42, and you know time flies in this country of ours. Hi, good afternoon. I'd like to know if all the time I'm using the same appliances, or most of the time paying 6,000 to 7,000, then suddenly the bill come 15,000 after 7,000 again. What is the problem here? I'm from Esquivel.
So again, we'll need the account number before we can make any comments on this, because it could very well be it's estimated. They're not reading on a monthly basis. So once they estimate and then they have the actual read, then you'll see a larger or smaller bill depending. So again, if you can get the details, we will leave our contact information. Call us and we'll investigate it.
Thank you very much for that. And let me tell you, there's an easy way to, for those people who are tech savvy, well, not tech savvy really, I'm not tech savvy, but I have WhatsApp. Now, so a lot of people got phones in here, and you must know somebody who got phone, a smartphone, and have internet on it. You have a problem with your light bill or so on. Do you have a WhatsApp number that GPL that we could WhatsApp you the bill, maybe WhatsApp you a picture of the meter last month and then this month and so on? Could we do that again?
Yes, we do have a number.
Okay, so what we're gonna do? I think GPL is gonna commit. We're gonna publish those numbers in the newspaper. Yes. They're gonna have a specific number that they could be able to answer it and so on. They're putting together all these systems. So you have numbers that you could actually call. You could actually call GPL. You could actually, is there a Facebook page as well? There's a Facebook page you could talk live with somebody there. Is it 24/7?
A live chat, yeah. 24/7 live chat.
Right. So a lot of people are there. You must have a grandchild or somebody there. So there are a variety of ways. I would like, let me stop here before we go back to the lines. The radio program is here for GPL. It's the people's program, and you know that we have the amount of people here. We want to invite GPL. It's free. I think maybe if you guys want to take out some ad, talk to Glenn, but that's all right. But we're making it available. The people who have complaints, and maybe even if it's a half an hour a week, you just come in and let the people ask you questions, or maybe you could take their thing. So it is there, it is available there, and we could make it probably not Friday, maybe Thursday, Wednesday, anytime you make it up and we take it from there. So that's open up to you. Do we have a call online? We don't happen to have a caller, but very quickly, let's go back to, let me see, room 592. Hi, good afternoon, Leonard. I remember the days when blackout was frequent and lengthy. I also remember that you attempted to dial your loved ones overseas and the circuits were busy. This was in the 80s. Fast forward to 2020, I can contact my loved one via video almost instantaneously. Compare the two, and do the math. GPL needs to get on with it. The citizens deserve so much better. I'm passionate about the subject because at this day and age, this should not be the case. GPL, a lot of work here needs to be done. Get on with it and don't sleep. Only Mother Nature should dictate the potential outage, not GPL. Stay safe. God bless. I kind of like that kind of language. I like it too, yeah. How much should GPL charge per kilowatt?
53.
Yeah, it varies. On average,
$53 or so per unit, depending on what kind of service. If it's residential, business, we have different business classes. Tariff B, C, D, industrial.
And this is an interesting question for you in the hot seat here now. Across the Caribbean, where does GPL stand in terms of those costs, what we're charging customers?
I think it's on the higher end.
It's on the higher end?
Yeah, the higher end, yes.
And I thank you for being so honest. let me tell you why. And I think that we know all the costs of it. Guyana, as was explained by Mr. Harjon a little earlier, we have a very different and difficult terrain across here. Well, you know, the hinterlands, they have their own kind of arrangement there. There are many power plants that they have in the various areas. You have Latham, you have Kwakwani, and so on and so forth. On the coastlands, you have different power plants, and all of them, maybe there could be some different engines, and everything got to be worked into one grid. So it's a very difficult thing, and not only that too, we, as was acknowledged by GPL a little earlier, And I'm not working with them. I'm not doing PR for them. I'm just telling you what the situation is. It takes a lot of money to actually bring the system to where you are at. I think you were doing some line changes, some transmission and line changes. I think that was about what, 30, $40 million with a Chinese contractor. Where are we with that at the moment?
We are this is at the distribution level. This is under the POP program, the POP.
Yes.
POP, yeah. So they're doing upgrade of the network. So they're across the country doing upgraded. That is where the new meters are being installed. So they would have looked at some. I know one caller said there are only specific areas they will go to, but before they go to these areas, they did an assessment and see like the worst areas, like where they have more, old poles, age cable, the network, where we need to do right sizing of the transformers. So they're doing a priority basis, and so come they start that project. So right now there are three lots, and they're in the second lot they're working on right now.
And that gives you an idea. So you're looking $50 million for 46 megawatts. Another, $40 million there. They're looking for another 200 million. So it's not a very, very cheap thing. But guess what? The normal Guyanese doesn't really care because they know they have to get the electricity, and rightfully so. Can't we get it right? Can the government get it right? Can GPL get it right? Those are the questions and concerns of people. It's very hard. Do we have a caller? Good afternoon, caller. You're in the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon to the entire panel. Just a quick info on how to go about applying for a new service as of right now.
To apply for a new service, you can go online. We have an application form online. We have a WhatsApp chat line. If you visit any of our commercial offices, you'll have to bring along your ID card.
Well, I know the requirements of getting it, but I want to know that if I can go to GPL Main Street and get it done.
Yes, you
so
can.
So taking the application there.
Yes.
So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much for that. You tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show here. We just have about 5 minutes. We could probably take one more call or so, read a couple of messages, and let's see what they say here. Hi, Leonard. Good afternoon to you and your guests. I have a question for them. My prepaid meter damaged, and I get in current. But every time I call GPL, they say I have to wait. I want to know when they can fix my meter. We're gonna take your number here as well as your name, and GPL is gonna make contact with you for that. Do we have a call online? Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hello, Mr. Gildarie. Good afternoon to you and your panel.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm calling from Borbies, Blairmont.
Blairmont, Borbies. That's West Borbies. Yes, go ahead, sir.
My meter I get a digital meter.
That's a new meter, yes.
Digital, and the meter is faded. You hardly see the number meter. And soon the meter gonna blank out. And I'm asking how can I get a new meter, because I went into Anvoac and they say there is no meter up to now.
What kind of meter are we talking about? Is it prepaid or is it a
No,
post?
this is not prepaid. This is...
Maybe the digital one.
Right, the digital, but not prepaid.
I leave Chevion on that one there.
All right, so take my number and you call me, because this might be a ITB meter. So we need to ascertain what is the issue first before we do the change out.
Right.
So you got the number is 600 6046.
600 646.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that, all the way from Blairmont, West Coast Police. Let me stop here and tell you that we're almost out of time. This is what we're going to do. Could we tell a date to the people that maybe you could make yourself available, even if it's a half an hour, come take calls, and you listen to the people generally. Just tell us a day.
Want to pick
Wednesday? All right. Very, very good. So here what we're going to do. We're going to go Wednesday, every Wednesday, GPL on, maybe like about 1:35. We come on and, you could raise your issues with GPL. Chevion is going to be reminding us about the numbers and so on and the procedures. And we are going to be talking to them because it's better for us to talk to them than not talk to them. We have so many questions, and sometimes it could be a case where we blaming them. I blame them. I cuss them all the time. I get up on Sunday, black out for 4 hours. I can't watch anything. I can't do anything. I'm there lying in my hammock. But there is, I'm sure that GPL don't want to be cussed, and so they're working hard to get it. So I leave it. I give you guys maybe the floor, each one of you maybe, and then to give some closing remarks to the people.
I'll go first because I'm non-technical. So to our customers and listening audience, first of all, we want to thank you for giving us this opportunity, Gildarie, for being here and hearing the feedback. We're going to use most of them to improve ourselves, the company, and Guyana as a whole. And to our customers, we're willing to work with you. You reach out to us. Even if you have bad experience with some people, don't be afraid. Continue to reach out because that's how we're going to form a partnership and work together to improve the service, not only for GPL and customers, but for our future children who will be future leaders. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much, Leonard, for this opportunity to allow GPL to come on air and speak to and answer questions live. We really appreciate the feedbacks we received, and some very important questions came to us. We will definitely go back and try to work our best. I indicated earlier that there are a number of challenges, technical, generation, our customer services quality. So we are going to use these feedback and hopefully we'll work to improve the system. We're having working on generation to have improved generation. We're looking at even our call center. We're looking at the resource we have on the ground to respond to problems when we have problems in the system. I indicated that for the Christmas season, we're actually doubling up our resource in our call center, our control room, as well as the crews on the ground just to respond. And we know also that during this period, this time of the year, it's usually very rainy, and when we have bad weather, it often will affect our network system. So as a result, we are planning and we're having double staff on the ground.
Thank you very much for that. And Mr. Harjon?
Yes, thank you, Leonard, for having us here. I just want to let our customer know that during this time, we'll try our best to make sure we provide a reliable power supply to them. I know having the cable out is a major concern, but I want to assure our customers that we're not putting out any load shedding schedule out there. We will balance our generation and we'll make sure that excuse me, that we have enough power for the holidays.
Thank you very much. And if you're now joining us or very short while back, it is the Wake Up Guyana show with your host Leonard Gildarie, and we have with us here senior officials of the state-owned Guyana Power and Light, and we would have been speaking to the Deputy CEO of Strategic Operations, Mr. Samaru Ramtahal, Bharat Harjon, Divisional Director, Power Generation, and of course the lady in the midst of things here as always is Chavion Sears, Public Relations Officer of the Guyana Power and Light. And so we want to, like I said before, next Wednesday, just about 1:35 or so, GPL is going to be in the house again as we continue to take those comments and try to, improve what is happening here, because I think it's a work in progress, not only for us. We want to have an understanding what are some of the issues that is bugging GPL and how can we improve it, and of course have an understanding of it too. So if they're not doing a good job, we know where to put them. At the end of the day, they work for us too. We understand that too, but it is all in the line of having conversation with our people on key issues, not only governance but the operations of our state-owned assets and so on. And GPL has been kind enough to accommodate, and this is maybe a change of better for customer service as we go forward in this beautiful country of ours. So I want to say thank you very much. We had to deviate a little today on our normal programming. That's because GPL is a very important item on our agenda, and we had to do things a little differently. If you missed the program, it is on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube, and we would have been coming to you live on 99.1 in Esquibo and Demerara and Berbice, 99.5. Thank you for joining us wherever you would have joined us from, whether it's Guyana, overseas, New Yorkers, how you guys doing, all across North America and across Europe. And so we have many persons tuned in to us. Good day. Thank you very much. And sorry about the shortness in it. We will do better next time. Have a pleasant rest of the day. And thank you very much to the GPL team.
Why you that peeping in we neighbor bedroom window, girl?
Shh! I trying to see is what brand of diapers they using. Coffee tell me a couple the other day and it work real good. It ain't leaking, it ain't brand of baby belly, it holds enough pee. He ain't get no rash after a long time. It just proper.
Girl, it's sleepy sensitive diaper. And it has come in a purple pack.
How you know?
The diaper good for truth. I simply ask you.
Oh.
But wait, it's why we whispering. You realize they can't hear we from till over there.
Oh.
Sleepy. For mommies who look for